this as much as possible from both of these teams. You know that beating them here and now would show at minimum that they have some chance at playoffs that warrants them being there, as opposed to losing this one and having to work their way through a qualifier where it'll feel like they are absolutely the fourth best team and nothing more over the course of the split. So this is their chance to really define that for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as we got to see with that graphic as well, right? Even though they did end up, taking some of these L's to those higher ranked teams, still going 2-1, so clearly showing that they've got what it takes to be in contention with those teams. They just need to find and feel like that last kind of final push to really secure the win. It feels like already a little bit of action on this top lane. I like to see it already. The aggression coming out here from both Hyro and Emperor.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I don't know. Has anyone introduced you to who Emperor is in the grand scheme of things in League of Legends?
They have not. I've just heard the Emperor, but that's about it.
Okay, yeah, his name is the Emperor for good reason. Currently, right now, the second place solo kills is 23 in all major Worlds qualifying regions. Emperor has 44 at the moment. Emperor is a beast in one-on-ones, which is why it's surprising that Hero's about to flex on him a little bit. Unfortunately, I unfortunately cast a curse him there for a moment because Hero is also pretty high on that list and has been a competitor in top lane. Both of these are relatively younger guys comparative to some of the other ones you consider. You think of like Kiaya and Hosmet as some of our longer-standing top laners. Hero and Emperor have stepped in much more recently and have really taken kind of the next step in being the next generation of top laners for good reason. As, again, this isn't an Emperor champion. We usually expect like the Akali or something very skill mechanical, and it speaks to the level that SE wants to play at today just because they have to. Part of it's like you want to put your best players in the best possible position, but if they believe in their team fighting, which is not something that's been a big play for them most of the split, then they're definitely boating a lot closer to that as Emperor's on this Gragas as opposed to something else.
Yeah, definitely. I will say Team Secret kind of feeling like a win lane, win game type of comp coming out right now. A lot of individual skill going to be coming on the table here. Hero looking for something here, but that turret is just a little too damning. Arctic Assault coming through. Actually was able to steal away the Crab as well, looking to steal away Penguin's life. The Flash comes through. This is looking like first blood. The Flash over Penguin. Can he escape? He's so incredibly close, but he's not quite gonna find a hero there with the save. He's being the hero. One might say, but Diaz says, nah, you're done. Bye-bye. Just flashes over the wall, hits him with the soldier, the 1-2, and just jumps right back over the wall like it's nothing.
And a nice use of both the push in mid lane from the Azir to be able to kind of make his way up to top side and support that play from DNK, who knew he had the support from the Azir over top of the Akali to kick things off. Artifact not able to move, and it opens up DNK to make a much more aggressive play. Sejuani is not really low on single target damage to kick off a game. She has a lot of CC, but when you're able to get that big kind of frost proc on your passive, it makes it difficult. So even Penguin being in this situation, who burnt most of his cooldowns on the Scuttle Crab, which he lost, by the way, was the big kind of problem in this circumstance that Penguin had basically burnt everything for no trade-off, almost going down to just the 1W, but ultimately I think ended up being a better trade. Unfortunately, the Flash has to get burnt by Dia1. Had that not been the case, this would have been a perfect situation, but Dia1 using that soldier, then being able to escape over the wall with the shift is perfect, because that means your Azir gets the kill, you get a nice assist for DNK, you burn Penguin's Flash, all incredibly valuable things for this early game, where, like you said, Team Secret definitely does a lot better if their composition wins in the earlier stage of the game.
Yeah, definitely looking to relegate Penguin to just be the round kick bot. That's all they want him to be able to do, pretty much. Is Balling looking to try and find something here on 2-0, but not going to find anything, and just overall... It definitely feels like Team Secret, right? They have a lot of tools to really get on top of whoever they want, right? They've got Artifact on the Sakali once she gets level 6 with that perfect execution. You've got Penguin, you've got Hero. But if you're incredibly behind, then you're not getting through the tank that is Emperor, that is DNK, It's like things won't be looking too good for you.
No, it's easy enough that if Celebrity does well inside of a game like this, and you've got this big front line, even if you've got all these access tools to backline, that team fights can still go relatively awry. Eddie's going to have to step up big for the team if that ends up being like the 5-on-5 type battle, where it becomes Celebrity versus Eddie. And that's something that I think is a warranted matchup that SE should try to build upon in this series. It's not that Eddie plays necessarily the worst League of Legends, just that's a matchup I feel like they can put some faith into, given the way Celebrities played, or at least did in the earlier portions of the season as a team fighter. As level 6 got reached by Hero, he immediately popped the dominance to try to find aggression into Emperor. But DNK, fortunately, is in the defense of this player, as Penguin's going to bounce over and find himself in the faces of Juani.
Oh no, Penguin had no idea what was coming. So much damage coming out from DNK, and they're going to look to just shut him down. He's getting lower and lower, but he survives. But yet again, actually dashing in, grabbed himself a kill, going 1-for-1 here. And now DNK should be able to pick up this kill. That's actually looking pretty dicey. Nope, going to have to instead just handshake it away and be like, you know what, good fight, good sir, good fight.
It doesn't have the passive really to work with, and so in a weird situation, DNK ends up finding yet another counter gang. I think Emperor got a little too antsy right there and tried to make a kind of a bigger play than he needed to, because if you see, he's level 5, which is tough, and Hero's level 6, which means he's quite a bit stronger. They had the kill on Penguin, I think, without anything else. You can walk away probably right here and not really worry about it all that much, and this where Hero, he pops the ultimate away, trying to catch out the Lee Sin before the Lee Sin can make any sort of aggressive play to guarantee the 1-for-1 trade. But I feel like Emperor could have slow played that just a little bit better, or focus on getting the level 6, maybe play a little bit more defensively instead of playing for the 1-for-1, played for the 0-for-0. But that's not really Emperor's style. He doesn't like to do that. So willing to give that trick kill over to his jungler to make sure that, again, that kind of brick wall that you put in front of the rest of your composition is going to be well concreted in.
Yeah, definitely. Laying down the cement right now, waiting for it to harden. But regardless, still fighting a little bit at the moment. Gotta say, Artifact's life looking pretty rough. Regardless, though, I will say I'm impressed. Farm-wise, he's still keeping up pretty well, despite we've just been seeing every time we cut into that mid lane, right, that massive just range advantage that's coming out with Dia 1 soldiers, right, always pressuring him off the wave. But regardless, holding pretty well.
It's a situation where, like, Artifact is definitely the most consistent of mid laners inside of this league. Like, you could put him on most champions and he will have a good performance. He's not always going to have the most electrifying performance. I don't think he's the best Akali player we've got in the league, but he will definitely be serviceable. He'll hit those the CS marks, like you said. He's able to stay within striking distance of the Azir to kick off a game like this. And when the time comes, he's going to be somebody that can pressure the backline, somebody that's going to have to be paid attention to by Palette when it comes to protecting Celebrity Dia 1 in some of the later stage fights. Before the early game, just going to get kind of manhandled by the Azir. Not much else to really be said. Zhu Hao makes his kind of rudimentary pull up to the top lane, or into the mid lane. My apologies. Polite kind of matches just to make sure there's no additional aggression to come through, or at least that they would have some kind of bearing on what that play is going to look like. There's a lot of members actually converging on this Rift Herald on this mid lane. Palette!
Yeah, looking for something here. The Lightning Crash going down, and Palette is going to be the first one to fall. He gets chunked just a bit too much, and down he goes. And so ultimately they pick up that 1 kill to maybe pivot on up into this Rift Herald. Not to instead look to take some backs.
It's a situation where it feels like Dia 1 actually was lacking the ultimate, and that was such a big difference maker that if they've got the Emperor's Divide, maybe they are willing to take that fight. But it was only seconds off of cooldown before it was, unfortunately, Palette that kind of bit the dust on the back of that hook. As like you said, the Rift Herald is aggressive against. They are so far in. I doubt that they can just leave this without anything else. They're going to try to get it. Now fighting.
Try and go for the steal. It's looking pretty bad right now. Penguin gets taken down. I don't even know who secured the eye. We're going to have to look at that one later, as right now Hero needs to dash to get out of that one alive. A lot of poke coming out, though, right now from Eddie. Look at that. So much damage. And they're going to find themselves Emperor in the first here on the board. Looking to find Palette next. He's running, but he's a little bit too big. He can't run fast enough. And down he goes.
At minimum, SE does win at least 1 kill and does get the Rift Herald, which are big kind of selections now underneath their top
but look
tower.
at this turret, dude. Oh my god. Zuhao is too damn tanky. He does not care. He tanks as much as he needs. Dia 1, how is this man alive? That is just... I don't know how this guy just did it, but that is just Oh my god.
fractions of a health bar remaining here for a couple of members on the side of SE, who again kind of dodged so much worse of a situation that Team Secret could have potentially got them into. As again, they were able to find a kill. They committed so heavily to the bit of the bear or the Rift Herald coming through. The one positive is somehow they find a decent fight. Somehow they find a position where they can get Penguin, and then they get out of dodge without losing all that much. Part of this is, again, Eddie isn't doing the most damage to start with. Not that Eddie isn't positioning properly. You know, Akali gets in, but again, not many items are really here quite yet to be able to punish a lot of the members on the side of SE on their way out of this circumstance. And so again, I think they take this trade all day. Yes, you lose a couple of kills. A couple of them go into this area, which is a little bit alarming. But fortunately, Celebrity was the one that picked up the kill, so you do match that. And the Rift Herald is a very valuable tool. It is in Emperor. He's fine moving as we get another fight.
Look at that zoom out again. Lower and lower. Emperor's Divide. Not even needed. They take him out. The lightning crash from Eddie once again. Doing a little bit of poke damage here and there. DNK running for his life. Is going to go down, though. And that's going to be 2 members down, actually. Going to the hands of Team Secret. Make that 3 if they can't run fast enough. Maybe even 4. Down goes Celebrity as well. And this time around, Pallet will be the only one left standing.
And striking way too far into the territory of Team Secret is SE, looking for something. They find 1 kill. They find Zuhao exclusively. That's a kill onto Palette. And the play afterwards is just so disgustingly good. You have Eddie in perfect position to make sure that he can put damage over top of a wall in the Tri-Brush. You've got a perfect positioning for Artifact to come flanking. Yes, I think he dumped a mid-wave for it, but that's perfectly acceptable. Because again, look at this. You get 1. The Emperor's Divide pushes Penguin away from your ADC. Celebrity doesn't have or pop ultimate until very late into this fight, really, to try to dodge out on everything else. And it just means your damage dealers get so much easier focus. It's 1 member at a time that you're putting into any kind of significant force. As now, again, onto the map, just consistent fighting between these teams.
Pallet eating the dirt once again. Down he goes, finds himself in a terrible spot, and is taken out. He just... My man can't even leave Swan at this point. Like, it hurts. It hurts. But they are going to try and find them some artifact here. The Winter Assault not quite going to land. Neither will the Winter's Bite. And so Artifact actually going to go ahead and just hop back over that wall. We see the Rift Herald getting dropped. Artifact fighting for his life, fighting for the life of his turret. And they're going to try and make something happen here. The turret doing actually quite a bit of damage onto Emperor, but he will be able to get out of that one alive. Going to drop the keg as well, just to make sure that no one can follow up on him. Rift Herald will go down. Turret still stands, and so at the end of the day, I think Artifact's quite happy with that.
SE's been forcing a couple of situations. This was the play onto Lee Sin. The Dragon actually got confirmed by DNK, and then they go for the Penguin kill, which DNK will secure here. But it's Palette who kind of wraps around and gets wrapped around on by Zuhao in the grand scheme of things. More members here on the setup from Team Secret, so they trade the 1 kill for the Dragon. I think SE is actually, once again, okay with that circumstance. The problem is any of the plays that they've really been kind of initiating, any of the plays that they need to go well, have just not been in the slightest. Everything they've been trying to force has not worked into Team Secret. The best plays they've taken are plays where they've been able to pull a neutral objective and then remove themselves from that situation, but that's not sufficient to really put yourselves in a good position and take control of the game back. Because right now, I mean, with the 2 carries, major carries on Team Secret, having the gold value that they do at this point, 2 kills on Akali, 3 kills on Eddie's Zeri, the prospect of team fighting is getting harder by the moment here from SE, when they should be the ones with that really, really easy type team fight if they were playing a much more controlled style.
Yeah, I also love how when they take that drag, DNK just goes like, "No, I'm out." Like, later, Pallet. Like, you're on your own, brother. I got things to attend to here in the jungle. You'll be okay, right? No, oh, that's 3 members. That's too bad. I'll be over here somewhere watching.
Which is, I mean, fair enough. DNK's been playing this game really well, actually. He's got full kill participation. He's been all over the map. He's secured a couple of objectives. I think he's honestly the one thing that's keeping this game within striking distance for SE against Team Secret. It's been difficult as Penguin tries to slip in a quick little hit onto Dia1, but unfortunately that Tasty Lick is not going to go through, and Dia1's just going to be able to slide out with relative ease. As again, SE just wants to set up this Azir, set up this Sivir for success in the later stage of the game. If they get to that point, I think it'll be easier. I don't think the front line is particularly difficult to get through. Hero on the Renekton, the Lee Sin is not just completely unbreachable from this Azir Sivir combination. The problem is is Eddie and Artifact being as strong as they are, it makes it difficult for those 2 to stand resolute against everybody else's. Mid tower is going to fall. I was kind of hoping for a jump in right there to see if we could actually get a fight for the tower, but not going to be the case. We've had plenty of fighting already, so they're just going to calm down for a minute.
Yeah, I think it's nice to see that they, regardless, they've been seeing. Well, okay, we'll have to wait on that point. Is it's looking like Hero just gonna go ahead, actually not gonna be able to get that turret, but too much damage coming out because of the damage he deals to Emperor. That turret is gonna shoot at him, so close to being down, and we do see Penguin is there to go ahead and help him shove this wave and take out this turret. But like I was saying, it's nice to see in that mid lane that they still kind of respect right the tanks that does come out from DNK, from Palin. They realize that if it's not one of these kind of close quarter skirmishes like we keep seeing these jungles where TS does always come out ahead, there's always still that opportunity that things won't work out as well for them. As Artifact says, screw that, I'm looking to just go in here. See the perfect execution getting dropped here, but there it is, right? So much CC getting dropped in, and now he can't do anything. Artifact, like, that's exactly what I'm saying, right? You got these tanky frontliners, all this CC, you gotta respect it.
And I honestly, it was kind of a filthy combination from Artifact to try to get onto Celebrity, but again, the bouncer just kind of kicked him away. It was Paulette and and DNK that did such a good job making sure that he was not going to get into the club anytime soon. It made sure that Celebrity was also going to be freed up to not only get the kill, but also the wave. He's going to be able to push the tower. They trade for the mid lane turret. Dia1 misses.
So close. That's unfortunate. Not quite going to find the Emperor's Divine Link he's looking for, but the Emperor's like, that's fine, dude. I got this. Yo, okay, that was kind of smooth. Actually, DNK with the Witch's Assault right into Penguin as soon as he lands. That you love to see. That's some really nice plays coming through. Meanwhile, Celebrity doesn't quite have the damage to take out Huo, so ultimately he's going to be able to escape for now. But regardless, maybe not. DNK, he's on the hunt right now. Dropping that sweeper, he knows he's in there. Witch's Assault going to get dropped. The hook, the flash out to dodge it. And so the smite coming out. They want him so badly. Are they going to get it? There we go. They finally find him. Oh, the poor man. He ran the race of his life, but ultimately still goes down just outside of the turret.
Sure did. It's another. This time, SE actually gets away with a lot on the map. Not only did they get the bottom lane play because of Artifact, they lose mid tower to Rift Herald, but they do end up getting at least one kill back for all of the efforts in the mid lane. They end up chasing down a second one. They get Dragon. Again, in terms of gold, they've shrunk the lead to only about 1,000, and a large portion of this has actually gone into Renekton because Hero was split pushing the whole time and found the top inner tower. So the Renekton is an absolute beast, but the rest of the map caught up pretty significantly as a result of all the plays that just went through. The gold lead, it was at 1,000 just seconds ago. Now it's back up to about 1,500 for Team Secret. But still, the lead hasn't grown. It's got a little bit smaller from where it was seconds ago. And better yet, Celebrity has really been massively kind of infused with gold as of the last couple of minutes, is able to at least match the items. Doesn't quite have boots, but close enough to where Eddie's position is to be able to match in team fighting compared to what that champion is going to be able to accomplish, which is great. SE fighting back quite well. Their front line is doing great. And once again, DNK is just absolutely smashing this game on the Sejuani.
Yeah, definitely. We're kind of seeing why they keep, in these last couple of matches, always picking up that sort of 2-1, always finding themselves that avenue. Actually, we get to see that on Kali pick once again. Look at that. It's just CC after CC after CC after CC. Nothing that he could do. And Celebrity just gets those free hits and just does so much damage. As we see the setup coming here in this bot lane. Penguin, don't do it to him. Don't do it to him. The kick into the dominance. You can use that Emperor's Divide as much as you want, but you just got divided in half there from Hero's Blade as he goes down.
Yeah, and this Renekton has just been a menace to deal with over the last, basically week of play here inside of the VCS. We saw it start to pop up as of last week, but this week it's been really good. And some of our top laners are really big Renekton appreciators. Hero showing really solid, passages of play on this champion, not only crushing Emperor during the laning phase and absorbing some resource from Penguin, but the fact that he's side laning with it as well as he is, he's going to be able to be an absolute beast in the late game. That's going to be hard for Celebrity to get through fast enough. Celebrity does good damage, but it's very over time damage. There's not a ton of burst to be able to rip through a large portion of the health bar of Renekton, and it gives him time to press Gore Drinker, to heal with his Blade of the Rune King, get a massive Q, to be able to actually put himself in a position where he's back up to full health and can kind of drain tank at the front end of fights. Somebody to keep your eye on, because that's been, again, a lot of the gold that's been given away to the side of Team Secret has been given to the Renekton, and Hero so far has actually used it to pretty solid effect inside of this game. See when fighting comes around if that continues to be a trend, but I would really like to see Hero pop off on this Renekton because he deserves it after the way this game has gone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with all these tools in his team's composition as well, really just allowing him to make full use of that kit, like just what we saw there, right? Penguin just jumps right in, gives Dia just the roundhouse kick of his life and just puts them right on the dinner plate there for Hero, who can just absolutely just slam dunk on him. Nandia does have that crown, but regardless, I don't think it's going to be enough from the damage that's coming out from Hero.
2 minutes on Dragon. We have a little bit of time till Rift Herald pops up, and it's mid lane Prio that's grabbed up by SE just as quick. Baron actually is spawned, so I don't think second Rift Herald ended up getting taken at any point there. I could be wrong. I don't know if anybody's holding on to it at this moment, but I don't recall anybody taking second Rift Herald inside of this game, so that one just goes away. As now it is just Dragons really for the foreseeable future more than anything else. That's going to be really imperative to watch as these two teams compete, because that's also the one thing that SE has done well is they've been able to contest the Dragons and pull the first two off the board. That is stats that you're talking about that got a little bit better as of this patch. And it's also much easier soul access. It's Cloud Soul, which some people, too much discourse on Cloud Soul recently for my taste on Twitter. But it does have its value and it have its place as is something that's going to be valuable for SE to be able to leverage either for scaling this game further by giving away individual Cloud Drakes to Team Secret and getting themselves more time to buy items and things, or by just going for that soul point themselves and saying with that move speed, it's going to be so much harder for Artifact, Hero, Penguin, all of these melee type champions to get on top of our Sivir. Allows Celebrity to really do his job as a damage dealer.
Yeah, Cloud Soul has its merits. Maybe not in my games, keep it far from my games, but in this game, I can definitely see Eddie foaming at the mouth just the thought of just the fully stacked Cloud Soul. Once he pops that lightning crash, we thought that the Sivir Yumi was going at Mach 5. This man is going to be zooming over the rift if he gets all of those under his belt.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% one of the fastest champions of the game. That's going to take him, if he gets to 4 Cloud Drakes especially, like the soul is going to go crazy. God. But I think both these ADCs dramatically want that. The only difference is Eddie is going to be super fast, but there are immediate lockdowns. Things like Nautilus Ultimate and even Sejuani Ultimate, if you tag it, is just going to lock Eddie and force the cleanse out. If he doesn't have that, he's going to have to burn Flash. And if you don't have either Summoner Spell, honestly, Mercurial might not be the worst of options in a game like this. After you bring that in, you don't have to worry about just getting locked down immediately by at least Sejuani to kick things off.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been seeing that happen over and over, right? Just the amount of CC and lockdown that comes out from SC that they're able to output, as we saw done to poor Artifact being done incredibly dirty.
Sure thing. I don't know if your stream is loading, if that's just my problem right now.
No, mine is also. Yep, we did just lose. Okay. Now we're gonna. That's perfect. Now we gotta speculate.
Now we speculate on things that are happening at the moment. So there's at least that to consider. But okay, what do you? I can't imagine this game ends up doing anything super crazy prior to big team fights. At least as my opinion, I don't see this going to a place where it ends up just being a bunch of picks or a bunch of really bad mistakes from either team. It feels like both of them are close enough that they understand that they need to kind of crimp down on mistakes, crimp down on pushing unnecessarily, and focus on team fighting instead a lot more than anything else. And so we're expecting these timers, these big objectives timers, to really be the focus. Seems like Team Secret was just gifted over the Cloud Drake without much ramification. I don't see any additional deaths that have come through for this team, which means that SE gave it away, and I think that's the right call 100%. They absolutely need to do that in the future. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, it looks like Dia might have flashed and might have died at some point. I don't remember who actually was down.
Too gruesome to show, man. It got redacted. It got redacted.
Yeah,
it's too gruesome to show. We couldn't show it on screen.
Redacted. True. Yeah, couldn't show it on screen. Yeah.
Some kind of shady business deal went down for that dragon. We couldn't show that one, and already we see the Grishal person getting dropped here onto Zhu Hao only though, and so ultimately, it's not gonna have too much effect, and that's a pretty big CC ability being dropped. And the cooldown isn't too long. So it's not going to be too much. You can already see it's about a fourth of the way back up. But regardless, yeah, definitely something you want to have in your pocket is it might be pivoting to the Baron here. Okay. Sure. Very curious if they look to start it up.
Teams got a decent turn off of the Baron. They have decent peel away from the Baron because of the Gragas and the Sivir ultimate. And you've got great damage between Sivir and Azir to kind of rip it down. You have good damage on Team Secret, but again, the double marksman, especially with Rabadon's second item on Azir, if you have any attack speed or any additional AP, you're really going to be shredding that thing with multiple soldiers. And so that's something that's threatened as well, is that SE does have that potential For the side of Team Secret, I think it's harder for them to just purely turn off the Baron. Instead, they have to have control of the pit and allow for maybe Penguin or specifically Artifact. I think even Zuhao would make a really good flanker in that position, where if you've got control of the Baron area, you can definitely find a way to find an engagement into the back line of SE, which is your best bet. They're just turning for that play, though. Their damage is good, but I don't think it's sufficient to burst down a Baron the way that they do on the other side. Penguin just takes a little bit of poke damage. They're going to ult him.
There it is. The ulti coming out, though. Not quite going to find the mark. Penguin with the flash to get away from that one. The TP getting dropped from Hero as well, who was just ready to get into the thick of things. But SC are like, nah, we're good. We're good. Believe in that.
And that's a decent takeaway, actually, because Hero's been side laning most of this game. You can see his farm is ridiculous. He's almost Flame Horizoned Emperor inside of this game. Just off the back of playing basically exclusively on his lonesome. He's level 16, which is 3 levels higher than even his own mid laner at this point. That's how separated he's been from everyone else in this game. He's on 3 completed items, far and away the most powerful and most loaded gold member of the game. And because he TP'd into topside, they are just going to commit for the Baron. They say, okay, we will either fight, or you're going to have to take a fight against us in the Baron pit, or you just have to yield this over to us, which might happen. So you can see Hero's in a decent position, Zuhao, but again, this isn't a team that wants to force Baron. They want to turn and fight, and that's what's going to happen. Artifact trying to get in the back line.
Yep, we see the Empress Divide coming out to stop doing that, but regardless, Artifact doesn't care. Looking to hop over that wall. Can he find it? It's a question, though. It's not looking too likely. Pallet with the knock with the stuns. Dio one going to drop himself that turret, but it takes a minute to get online. He's going to be able to escape from Artifact. Never mind. He's looking to run him down. 5-point strike is going to seal the deal, but the turret will take him out in return. And now the fight pivots down to the ball lane, and down it goes. Emperor as well. Celebrity was taken out mid-fight as well. And with that, TS only lose 1 member in comparison to the 3 that SE loses.
So much focus I was putting on to making sure that things were going to happen. Penguin is fighting up against DNK. Will Eddie ruin the 1v1 once again? We get
he is. That's a penalty. Yeah. 20k gold influx for this man, please. First down. That's just, I mean, we can't have that happen here. Come on now. We got to keep these fights legit.
Absolutely, 100%. I've always agreed with it. Palette is bold for hooking Hero in, just making sure that the minion wave is going to stay outside the tower for the moment, and Hero's going to leave because there's objectives abound on the map to have to worry about. As DNK is poking around the Dragon Pit, that fight, I wonder if we get a replay of it. We do actually get a replay. So I was putting a lot of focus into Dia1 versus Artifact, which ended up going the way of Dia1 because of his turret that he put down right here, which was crazy. So on the other side, I'm looking at what happened with Celebrity, because Celebrity is the main damage dealer, and it's Zuhao who made the big play happen, as opposed to anybody else getting into the backline. We talk about how easy it is for some of these divers to get back there, that your big front line has to put focus into making sure that's going to be the case. But just one member getting peeled away because of Artifact's pressure onto Dia1 meant that they didn't have somebody ready to protect Celebrity from that flash engagement from the Alistar. And that means Zuhao is the hero of that fight. Open space for Eddie to bring down the major damage dealer of SE. You have to be more careful. You have to make sure that doesn't happen in the future, as SE wants to stay competitive inside of this game. They're down 4k. They've given the last 2 dragons, I think, necessarily, because otherwise, I mean, you're just running the risk that Team Secret absolutely claps you and just takes over complete control of the game. But at this point, they're not so far down that it is impossible for them to come back in a game like this. Just trying to stay relevant in any way that they can, find picks where they can. And it's going to be enough to at least stave off the loss until the time comes.
Yeah, and I mean, we definitely see, as we kind of talked about, right, that just TS has so many tools to get into that backline, to get on top of Celebrity. If Artifact's busy, that's cool. We have Zuhao, we have Penguin, we have Hero. If one of them is busy, that's cool. We have, just in general, 4 members, almost the entire team, really, that has just dashes who can just get where they want to go. And once they take out Celebrity, that's such a huge damage source being dropped down. And then with Dia1, obviously, being a little busy with Artifact, looking to hunt him down, there's just nothing really that SE could do.
And in my opinion, the biggest difference that's really kind of showed up for Celebrity from the front half of the split to the back half of the split is that his teamfight positioning is here. They find Hero.
And this really bad positioning for Hero right now, because he does go down. The glacial is going to drop as well to make sure that no one can pull up to help. Penguin next up in the mode. I've gone a little too far forward. No one there to back him up. Gold into the dirt, though. Next up should be Artifact if he's not careful. He's zip-zapping and dashing around him, though. Is it going to be enough is the question. Emperor with the flash to look to escape, but it's not going to find himself that. Instead, he goes down. Eddie
Ooh.
will be taken up by DNK, though, looking to turn this thing around. The Arctic Assault has begun, and DNK is looking for something. Zuhao gonna try his damnedest, but it's not gonna be enough. He eats the dirt as well, and just like that, we sang TS's praises, but they lose themselves 4 members.
That time they can't generate a dive. They have no pressure to put into Celebrity, very little pressure to put into DO1, and they win in one at a time. That's not the way they've played any other fights this game. It is the first time we've seen them really stumble and fall, and it is only Artifact left to try to defend this. Is he's going to have to put on a ridiculous amount of pressure. Teleport coming in, Lee Sin's a ways away. They're going to get the Baron. It's a question of whether Hero can stall them long enough to try to find anything other than just the Baron, as he has to slip out over the wall going through the blue buff. He is going to be able to escape, but that is the massive turnaround. That is the gold equalization from SE that they absolutely needed to be inside of this game. And again, look at the way that this fight plays out. It's perfect. They get Hero because, Emperor was looking for a flank from the opposite side. He was not expecting Groggins to be
Look
there.
at DNK's ult now, dude.
Also,
Boom.
what is Penguin doing here? He jumps in, but he kicks out Celebrity. Celebrity does take a good amount of damage. He almost kills him with the Q, but you're not gaining anything from this, and now you've lost 2 of your massive divers. Eddie's kind of pushed away from any of the major damage dealers to be able to put in any kind of work on a DO1, and then he jumps over the wall right into DNK, where he also gets caught out. It's such a weird situation where it was such individualistic play that we normally don't see from Team Secret, costing them so much to SE.
Yeah, Penguin, you're not that guy, brother. You're not that guy just yet. Going in, he's got his war cry ready. He's like, I'm killing everyone, and he just gets absolutely stomped into the curb. I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure they really just didn't see, especially that the Glacial Prison coming out from DNK, right? Stop 2 members in their tracks, and they have to watch in horror as it's like this is nothing they could do. Ultimately, though, I see. Coming on top with that one, they have the Baron buff as well, waiting for that minion wave, and now they get to start the assault on Team Secret's base. This mid-tier 2 is not long for this world. Down it goes. The siege potential is so enormous, and Team Secret have to retreat to their own base, and things are looking dicey right now. Dia1 dropping his own self-made, self-crafted turret there as well to make sure that Team Secret just cannot leave their base in this mid lane for a minute.
It's a strange circumstance because fighting in the open actually seems like a bad idea from SE to me because it opens up all these angles. I know they've got wards, but it's just so much area that they have to worry about the access of Artifact coming from around the back, Penguin coming from somewhere else, Hero coming from somewhere else. They've been able to thankfully box out Artifact enough. DNK spotted him, was able to push him away with that turret behind them as well. It's a lot more difficult to find this perfect flank angle, and it's going to force a head-on fight, which I think is harder for TS to really find all of the ways that they want to access this team. This Hero, once again, getting pulled. That time not going to be executed basically immediately, and the safety of the tower is going to allow a retreat from SE, as they could also run back. Cloud Drake is going to be here in a second. They can also give it up if they don't want to, because they've taken their first gold lead of the game, burnt a good number of resources, making sure this was going to go over to them. They only have about 20 seconds to make that decision. I think they are just leaving. I think that they don't really care all that much. With mid lane inhibitor down, they've gotten a good amount. They've gotten their gold back. They have the ability to fight when the time, when they get around the 4th dragon more than anything else. I don't think that they try to force around this Drake. I think that would be an exercise in futility where Team Secret gets to control basically all of the terrain ahead of time.
Yeah, we saw a Hero going down to that ball lane, looking to make sure that they keep these waves in check, keep them pushed in, so that there's nothing that SE can do. With this drag up now, we do see TS are starting it off, but the members of SE are on their way, and now a fight is brewing. DNK and Pallet already seeing what's going down, getting a little bit of lay of the land. Here's this drag. It's going to go down. They are going to give it on over. They don't, it feels like they just didn't really see an opportunity. They're like, you know what, you can have it. We'll be taking the game. You can have the drag. We'll take the game later on.
Yeah, like I said, they've been playing patiently. They took the first 2 dragons, and it's bought them so much additional time that normally you wouldn't have as this team, because you would have been forced into a bad situation. But those dragons have given them enough time to find a fight that gets them back into the game. Now Team Secret want to find the side swipe into back
getting
of this
collapsed
team.
on. No, this is exactly what we've been waiting for. Emperor's Divide is absolutely huge. So Omen Sam's coming through. Lightning Crack's gonna drop. Penguin's gonna be first one to drop. He's eating the dirt. Zoo next up on the list, and we see Eddie fall as well. The members of TS are slowly crumbling. Hero gonna try his best to make some kind of a hero play. He's running, but the Shurima soldiers, the 1-2, they're just too damn good. Dia1 hits him with your HP bar is Dia 0, and you're dead. And with that, once again, TS 4 members fall. Artifact is the only one left standing, and now we see possibly the final push into the base. Death timers incredibly long. Zuhao will be the first member up in 12 seconds, so Artifact needs to hold this line. They have a pretty big minion wave coming in. They don't have that Baron buff, obviously, but I don't think they even need Artifact. Look at the dance around him. Gonna go buy himself as much time as possible. He's like, please, Spawn, I need some backup over here. And Zuhao is on his way over, but it might be too little too late. The second Nexus turret goes down as well. Nexus is exposed. They need to find the damage here, though. A lot of damage actually coming up from TS, though, but it doesn't even matter. The double kill. Dia 1, make that Dia 2 with the double kill, and Per grabbed himself a kill as well. A triple kill for Dia 1. And SC, baby, don't count him out yet. They grabbed themselves game number 1.
Sometime in the middle of that game, Dia 1 had to be telling his team, we scale. Just don't do anything.